of wisdom. Wisdom, shield of wisdom. Wisdom, shield of wisdom. Flatline my mind, so I can be reborn again. Pronounce me DOA, so my new vessel won't no sin. This world is posing, global corrosion is eating everyone alive, except for the Most High people. And ain't no sequel in the end time. The Hebrew Israelites hit you rockin' enzymes. Let me define my mind. It's not that complicated. He that has an enter here, his mental will be elevated. Simply stated, I was intoxicated and inebriated by the old me until I was emancipated. The shield of wisdom helps to purge out the schism within the body. Cause human nature taught me to be naughty and hardy. The words of hooker and it's got a big disease, but I got spiritual medication so my soul can be at ease. We got the shield, we got the helmet and the sword. We got to kill that old man so we can kick it with the Lord. Brother, can't you see? What's the truth have done for me? Taught me nationality. Brother, can't you see? Brother, can't you see? What's the truth have done for me? Taught me nationality. Brother, can't you see? Brother, can't you see? What's the truth have done for me? Taught me nationality. Brother, can't you see? Brother, can't you see? What's the truth have done for me? Taught me nationality. Brother, can't you see? Judah, Negroes, Benjamin, West Indians, Levi, Haitians, Simeon, Dominicans, Zebulon, Holland to Panama, Ephraim, Puerto Ricans, Manasseh, Cubans, North American Indians, Cubans, Seminole Indians, Naphtali, Argentinians and Chileans, Asher, Colombia, the Uruguayan, Issachar, Mexicans, wake up, Judah, 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 wake up.
Shalom and welcome to Shield of Wisdom. I'm your host, Priest Thaahwam. And today, I want to go into a hype topic. I want to go into the so-called Negroes here today, or the so-called blacks, whatever you might want to consider us as so-called African Americans, but we are the children of Israel. I just want to go into or the 12 tribes of Israel, we as a people, concerning the fact that we are the original people that was here in the Americas. We were called the Mound builders, and we go by different names all the way up until today. We the 12 tribes of Israel. I want to start out and show you how the Most High brought the tribes over here before any European or anyone claimed to discover America. I want to read this in 2nd Ezra in the Apocrypha 13 and 40. Says, those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their land, out of their own land, in the time of Hosea the king, whom Salmanessar the king of Assyria led away captive, and he carried them over the waters, and so came they into another land. He carried them over the Euphrates, the Jordan, and then over the Euphrates and the Tigris River. It says, but they took this counsel among themselves, that they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth into a further country where never mankind dwelt. And that's over here to Americas. It says that they might there keep their statutes, which they never kept in their own land of Israel. And they entered into the Euphrates by the narrow passages of the river. For the Most High then showed signs for them, and held still the flood till they were passed over. For through that country there was a great way to go, namely of a year and a half. And the same region is called Asareth, or meaning new land. Then dwelt they there until the latter time. And now when they shall begin to come into the truth and get ready to come into the kingdom that's prepared for the children of Israel. It says, and all those that's going to follow the righteousness of this Bible. It says, the highest shall stay the springs of the stream again, that they may go through. Therefore sawest thou the multitude with peace. So that's how we came over here. And I want to look into some information that has been researched. And we're going to look at the mound builders. It says the hidden ancestral civilization exclusively belonging to today's black American people in America. It said this is an Etowah mound or pyramid located in Etowah, Georgia, built during the black American ancestral civilization by black American ancestors before European discovery. See, there are over 250,000 pyramids or mounds in North America built by black American ancestors. And you go to the website www.blackAmericanHandbook.com/the mound /the_mound_builders 2.htm. Once again, that's www.blackAmericanHandbook.com/the_mound_builders 2.htm. And you'll be able to find this information. So there was a petition of identity recognition that was given out. It says, the petition will allow all black indigenous Americans a choice of citizenship to the United States. It says the petition will stop the United States destruction of public lands and distribution of lands to non-indigenous people of United States heritage, European recognized as American Indians or Native Americans. Said all black Americans will be recognized the descendants of the American Indians. Black indigenous American children will not be required to defend or participate in any war against another nation unless it is to defend their own homeland from further destruction, including the United States. So last, the recognition will give the real American people an opportunity to redress the world and reconcile for our participation in any wars under the direction of the United States that cause death and destruction to other nations of people in the world. Let the healing of the world begin with the indigenous American people, the real ancient ones. It says how to qualify, go to, and it tells you the particular site to go to. So let's look at the Geneva Project. It says, what is the Geneva Project? The Geneva Project is a petition for identity recognition. So these petitions will be used as evidence for the purpose of reclaiming for all black Americans their true American ancestral identity, culture, heritage, and birth, right as the descendants of the original people of the mound builders civilizations called Indian, who live in this land called America today. The omission from early American history education of the ancestral identity of the people captured by slavery as being the American Indians has robbed generations of black Americans of their connection to their birthright heritage and belonging to their ancestral homeland in America. The indigenous American or black American has become a stranger in her own lands and is left only with the Western version of history or his story. It says this invisibility has robbed generations of indigenous American descendants called black Americans of a real sense of belonging within humanity as a respected part of the world community. These petitions will be taken to the World Council in Geneva, Switzerland, on behalf of all black Americans who acknowledge their ancestral bloodline of American heritage to be recognized for their ancestral birthright identity and reclaim the stolen connection to their rich wealth from their heritage and land. This will return to all people labeled black Americans the respect, stolen ethnic heritage, human rights, race dignity, and belonging to their American ancestral homeland, which has been robbed from them. All black Americans who sign these petitions will be recognized as the last descendants of the largest ethnic group of indigenous Americans living in America, labeled the Mound builders. And there are nations and states called the Cherokee Nation, or also known as Washitaw Nation. So this race of people are the original American race of brown, curly-haired people Columbus, DeSoto, John Smith, and other explorers encountered and made reference to upon their arrival. They were first labeled Indians, captured, enslaved, and in 1705, were renamed Negroes by the English colonizers. That's 1705. That's when they were renamed Negroes by the English colonizers. It says benefits from these petitions are as follows. The petition will give all black Americans the protection from the Human Rights Treaty, a way to stop the genocide against black American people from systematic racism, the color of the law, and public policy. An avenue for justification to hold the United States accountable for the 40 years Holocaust of their people and stealing of their heritage and lands. Example, the black American experience of ethnic cleansing, slavery, stolen wealth, identity, and heritage in America from the European collective will be classified the same as the European Jew genocide experience from the Germans. So the promises made by the United States to the black indigenous people who were enslaved will have to be rectified. It will not be necessary to receive reparations from Congress. Reparations can be received from the world. So looking at this, it says, continuing further, it says, blacks are not oppressing, are not and have not had a colony of non-blacks under oppression. Say, most importantly, blacks are indigenous to the United States, in that we have been here for thousands of years. The first blacks in the continental North American continent did not arrive here during slavery. They were already here. In fact, North America was targeted as a source of black slaves in keeping with the Pontifex of mid-1400s and carrying out the racist conspiracy to enslave descendants of Shem, found in the new lands. The idea that whites brought back blacks to the Americas and therefore blacks are in the homes of whites simply does not apply to the Americas. In fact, the descendants of indigenous black Americans whose ancestors once established the pyramid culture in the southern United States are still fighting to regain their 1 million square miles of land annexed during the Louisiana Purchase. And I want to give, a special thanks and a shout out to a great lady, the Empress Verdiasi. She went to the Supreme Court and received hundreds of thousands of land back, but she have not retained that for the Washitaw Nation, who the Louisiana Purchase was taken from. It says, the United States did not recognize the black Washitaw Nation in the same manner as the French and the Spanish, who both recognized the black Washitaw as a separate black nation. In 1805, the Washitaw lost their lands and their people spread out. The same situation occurred with the black Californians, the black Jamasi of Georgia, and other black nations of the Americas who were targeted for enslavement and the confiscation and settlement of their lands. See Gandhi's pages or the writings of C. Rafinesque. That's Rafinesque, the Black Nations of the Americas. The writings of C. Rafinesque, Rafinesque. Say, there are hundreds of millions of blacks spread around the world, and in most areas they are indigenous to the lands where they live. The sight of Africans scratching the soil looking for grains of wheat and being wasted for diseases such as TB, bilharzia, and invented so-called AIDS disease has gone too far for blacks around the world. Africa feeds Europe and the Northern Hemisphere, where cold weather hampers agricultural productivity Africa is a major producer of food, yet much of Africa's land is used for cash cropping and owned by foreign people dominated by World Bank policies. Hence, instead of African farmers planting food to feed the African population, the food is being planted to feed Europe, who process the raw materials and send it back to Africa, where it is sold at an expensive price. There has to be some sort of conscience among people. This is nothing but genocide and a continuation of colonialism. In conclusion, black people in the Americas are the descendants of slaves, but they are also the direct descendants of Aboriginal Africans, or the Israelites that came here, as I read to you, who live in the United States and other parts of the Americas for thousands of years, being in the majority on lands that